In the dark silence of deep space, a massive alien warship hung frozen. Its sleek silver hull shimmered under the distant light of dying stars. Strange energy lines wrapped around it like invisible chains. The ship trembled, unable to move. Inside, the alien crew shouted orders, their voices filled with panic and fear. The ship's alarms blared, red lights flashing across every control panel. No one knew how this trap had appeared, and worse, they could not escape. Far away, hidden behind a cluster of asteroids, humans watched silently from their observation outpost. Their small ships were almost invisible against the black void. The humans were calm, but their eyes were sharp. They knew the aliens had always looked down on them. Humans were weak, unworthy, and primitive in the aliens' eyes. But today, the humans knew something the aliens did not. They might be the only hope to save this warship. On the observation deck, Dr. Mara Vey, the lead human scientist, leaned over the holographic display. Her fingers danced over the controls, analyzing the energy trap. She was small, almost unnoticeable in her simple spacesuit. But her mind was sharp, faster than any machine the humans had. This trap. It's not perfect, she whispered, her voice tense. Her team froze, staring at her. Could she really see a weakness in something that had paralyzed the galaxy's deadliest warship? The aliens inside the ship screamed orders, firing energy pulses into the chains of the trap, but nothing worked. Panic was spreading. Officers argued. One shouted, "This is impossible. Nothing can break these lines." Another cried, "We are finished." Their fear filled the air. Mara watched the energy patterns ripple across the warship. Then she smiled slightly. "It's overconfident," she said to her assistant, Jalen. "The trap assumes the warship will respond the way it always does. But if we act differently, we might turn it against them." Jalen frowned. "You mean a human could save this alien ship?" Mara nodded. "We have to try. We can't let this trap destroy everything. If we succeed, the galaxy will never see humans the same way again." The team quickly prepared their small, nimble spacecraft. Unlike the massive alien ship, their vessels were light, fast, and capable of sudden movements. Mara knew this was their advantage. "We go in slowly," she instructed. "One mistake and it's over for all of us. Keep your focus. Watch every energy pulse." Meanwhile, the trapped alien warship continued to struggle. Its massive engines roared but could not break free. Energy chains bent and twisted, crackling with strange colors. The aliens inside were terrified, unsure who or what had placed them in this trap. "We are doomed," one commander shouted, banging his fist against the console. Another officer gasped as part of the hull began to spark from the stress. Mara's team edged closer. Every second brought danger. Tiny meteoroids whipped past them, forced by the alien ship's energy fields. Mara's heart pounded. She felt the tension like a physical weight pressing on her chest. "Stay calm. Observe," she murmured. "The trap will show its weakness if we watch carefully." As they approached, Mara noticed a small flicker in the energy lines, a momentary gap that appeared and disappeared in less than a second. It was subtle, almost invisible, but she had seen it. "There!" she shouted. "Focus all sensors on that point." The team nodded, moving in perfect synchronization. The humans' small ships zipped through the dangerous gap, avoiding bursts of energy that could have shattered them instantly. Inside the alien warship, confusion grew. The crew had no idea what was happening. From their perspective, these tiny human ships were moving like shadows, slipping past defenses they thought were perfect. The fear in their eyes turned to shock. Could humans really be this clever? Mara's hands moved quickly, sending a sequence of pulses to the gap in the trap. Her mind raced, calculating every possibility. If she miscalculated, the alien ship would explode, taking every human with it. The energy chains around the warship began to shimmer and vibrate. Then slowly one chain snapped. A small section of the warship shifted. The aliens screamed in disbelief. "Keep going," Mara shouted. Her team responded instantly, pressing forward with precision. Another chain broke, then another. The warship shuddered as if waking from a nightmare. The humans were tiny, invisible engines of change, and the massive alien ship, paralyzed for so long, finally began to move. The aliens inside were silent. No one could believe their eyes. They looked at each other in disbelief, unable to comprehend that humans, creatures they had always called weak, were saving them. Slowly the warship powered up its engines, breaking free from the trap that had held it so long. Mara and her team watched, exhausted but triumphant. She smiled quietly. The trap was broken. The impossible had been achieved, and the humans had shown what intelligence, courage, and determination could do. The galaxy had just received its first lesson. Underestimate humans at your own risk. And deep in the stars, the humans knew this was only the beginning. The war was not over, but they had made a statement. Even the most powerful forces in the galaxy could not ignore the unexpected strength of humanity. The alien warship was free, but it floated silently in space, damaged and confused. Its engines were weak, systems were failing, and the alien crew could barely comprehend what had just happened. Humans, small, fragile creatures from a blue planet, had saved them. Some of the aliens stared at the sensors, their faces pale. They whispered among themselves, disbelief written in every movement. Meanwhile, back at the human observation outpost, Dr. Mara Vey and her team celebrated quietly. Their small spacecraft hovered near the edge of the asteroid field, hidden from view. Mara's eyes, however, were already scanning the alien ship again. Freeing the ship was only the first step. Something about this situation felt incomplete. The trap wasn't random, Mara said, her voice low and tense. Someone or something set it, and if we don't find out who, more warships could fall into the same fate. We need a plan. Her assistant Jalen leaned forward. Do you mean we go inside? Into that alien warship? Mara nodded. Yes, we need to understand what created the trap. And if we can, disable it at its source. We can't let them suffer again. The team went silent, realizing the risk. Boarding an alien warship was almost suicidal. The ship was enormous, heavily armed, and its crew could react violently. But Mara's mind was already racing. She had seen the patterns in the trap's energy. With her knowledge, she believed they could turn it against its maker. Hours later, they approached the alien vessel again. This time, the human ships were fully loaded with equipment, sensors, small drones, and hacking devices. Mara's plan was precise. They would enter through the least defended port, stay hidden, and place their equipment near the ship's energy cores. It was risky. One wrong move and the aliens could attack them. Or worse, the trap could reactivate. Inside the alien ship, the crew struggled to regain control. Officers barked orders, but panic lingered. Some were repairing systems. Others were trying to analyze the mysterious trap that had held them. Commander Peril, a tall armored alien with green-scaled skin, paced the bridge. We must strengthen the defenses, he said harshly. We cannot let this happen again. Humans are weak, but clever. We must be ready. Mara watched through her ship's cameras as the alien warship moved slowly through space, engines sputtering. She knew timing was crucial. The humans had only one chance. They had to act before the aliens noticed their presence. Remember, Mara whispered to her team, no unnecessary movements. Keep your sensors on the cores. Wait for my signal. The humans' tiny ship slipped close to the alien vessel, almost invisible against the backdrop of stars. Energy shields around the warship glowed faintly, a warning that any sudden movement could trigger alarms. Mara's heart pounded. She could feel the tension in the air as if it were a physical force pressing down on them. Suddenly, a flash appeared on the sensors, a patrol drone from the alien ship, moving toward their position. Mara held her breath. Hold steady, she muttered. The drone swept past, missing them by meters, unaware of the humans hiding nearby. Jalen exhaled slowly. That was too close. Mara ignored him, focusing on the task. She maneuvered their ships into position near the alien ship's secondary engines, where the trap's energy seemed to anchor most strongly. The drones deployed carefully, sticking to the hull in silent shadows. Inside the alien warship, the energy chains that had trapped them before were still visible, faintly flickering as residual power hummed through the ship. Mara could see the source, a massive alien artifact embedded deep in the engineering section. She had studied its energy signature from afar and knew she could disrupt it if her team placed the devices correctly. Here, she whispered, pointing at the screen. That's the weak spot. If we can overload the stabilizers just enough, the trap will lose its hold permanently. But we must be precise. Too much power and the ship will explode. Too little, and it will reset. The humans moved in silence, each step carefully calculated. They knew the aliens were watching, but the aliens could not predict their speed or their cunning. Human minds thought differently. Humans adapted in ways aliens could not. That was their advantage. A sudden alarm flashed on Mara's screen. Sensors detected motion inside, she said sharply. They're moving toward our entry point. We must hurry. The team worked quickly, attaching devices to the alien ship's hull. Sparks flew as energy shields activated briefly, but The alien warship floated freely now, but it was still weak. Its engines hummed unevenly and many systems were damaged. Inside, the alien crew was on high alert. Every officer knew something had saved them, but no one could understand how. They had survived, yet fear and confusion filled every corner of the ship. Commander Therrell's eyes burned with suspicion. Humans. They cannot be this clever, he muttered, pacing the bridge. We must find them. They are a threat. Meanwhile, human ships hovered close, hidden in the shadows of the alien vessel. Dr. Mara Vey and her small team prepared for the next step of their plan. The humans would board the alien ship, quietly, carefully, without being seen, and place devices that would permanently secure the artifact they had disabled. Jalen glanced nervously at the massive hull. This is insane, he whispered. The moment they see us, we're dead. Mara shook her head. No, they think humans are weak. That's our advantage. They won't expect us to come this close. We have speed, cleverness, and surprise. That is enough. The humans' tiny ships darted forward, maneuvering through the warship's energy shields. Mara's heart raced as they passed spinning debris from the ship's previous damage. Sparks flew from broken panels and small explosions echoed in the void. Every movement had to be perfect. One mistake and the entire mission could fail. Inside the alien warship, sensors detected movement near the hull. Officers shouted in alarm. Unidentified objects, one cried. Security teams rushed toward the exterior, activating turrets and energy pulses. Commander Therrell's eyes narrowed. Lock down all entry points. Find the humans. The human ships slipped between gaps in the defenses, their small size and agility keeping them out of reach. Mara directed them to a weak section near the engineering bay. This is it, she whispered. The artifact core is just behind that door. Get ready. Suddenly, a burst of energy hit one of the human ships, sending it spinning violently. Sparks flew and alarms blared inside the small craft. We're hit! Shouted one of the pilots. We can't hold much longer. Mara's voice was calm but urgent. Adjust the thrusters. Keep moving. Focus on the mission. Remember, the trap isn't perfect, it never was. Find the gaps, use them. With expert precision, the humans corrected their positions and moved closer. Drones deployed silently, attaching themselves to the alien hull and making their way toward the engineering bay. Each movement was tense. Every second could trigger the alien defenses. Inside, Commander Therrell watched the sensors with growing disbelief. The objects moved too quickly, too precisely, slipping past defenses he had thought perfect. Impossible, he shouted. How are they doing this? The human team reached the artifact core. It pulsed with a strange glowing energy, the same that had trapped the warship before. Mara carefully attached a small device to the surface, its tiny arms manipulating the core's outer structure. The artifact hummed and vibrated, sensing the intrusion. Alarms inside the alien ship screamed as energy surged. Almost there, Mara whispered. Her fingers moved swiftly over the controls, coordinating with her team. Synchronize all devices. 3, 2, 1. A wave of energy pulsed from the human devices, striking the artifact. The alien warship shook violently. Energy chains flickered, alarms blared, and some sections of the ship sparked and collapsed. The humans were nearly thrown off, but their ships held steady. The artifact glowed brightly, then dimmed. Inside, the alien crew froze. The core, it's being manipulated, one officer gasped. By humans? Commander Therrell's face went pale. Impossible. They should not know how to do this. They are clever. The humans quickly adjusted the devices, stabilizing the artifact and ensuring the trap could no longer reactivate. The alien ship's systems began to normalize, engines humming with more strength than before. The humans had done the impossible again. Mara exhaled, feeling the tension lift slightly. We've secured it, she said. Now get out before they discover us. The retreat was tense. Alien patrol drones began scanning the hull aggressively, detecting movement. Mara and her team dodged the sensors, weaving through the maze of broken panels and energy currents. Every second felt like a lifetime. Sparks flew, alarms screamed, but the humans slipped past, finally retreating into the safety of the void. Commander Therrell stared at the sensors in disbelief. His voice was barely audible. Humans, they are not weak. They are Unpredictable. Mara's small fleet regrouped, hearts pounding, minds racing. They had done what no one thought possible. They had entered the alien warship, manipulated the artifact, and escaped alive. But Mara knew this was just the beginning. The aliens would never forget this. They would watch humans differently now, and somewhere out there in the galaxy, forces even greater than this trapped warship were waiting, ready to test humanity's courage and cunning. The humans had survived the first contact chaos, but the war had just begun. Every decision from now on could mean life or death, victory or destruction. And Mara, standing at the helm of her tiny ship, knew one thing clearly. Humans were not weak. They were dangerous, unpredictable, and ready for the impossible. The alien warship drifted silently through space, no longer paralyzed but still trembling from the humans' previous interference. Inside, the alien crew worked furiously to stabilize the systems, repairing engines and shields. Yet a shadow of doubt hung over them. Humans had touched their most guarded artifact, something they had thought untouchable. Fear and suspicion burned in their eyes. Outside, Mara Vey's fleet approached once again, smaller ships gliding like shadows across the hull. Mara's face was calm but focused. "This is the most dangerous part," she whispered to Jalen. "We go inside. We study the core artifact, and we make sure no trap can ever harm them or us again." Jalen swallowed hard. Inside the alien warship? Are we crazy? Mara didn't answer. She only motioned to the boarding ramp. The humans had studied the ship's architecture from their observation post. They knew the points of least resistance, areas where alien security was minimal. The team moved quickly, silently, docking their small craft to a vent near the engineering section. Inside, the warship was massive. Hallways were lined with glowing energy conduits, and the hum of machinery echoed through the corridors. Sparks flickered from damaged systems, and alien voices shouted orders as crew members tried to contain the earlier chaos. Mara led her team carefully, staying in the shadows, using every corner for cover. They reached the artifact chamber. The core of the alien trap pulsed faintly, still alive but dormant. Its light reflected off the walls, casting eerie shadows. Mara's eyes scanned the room. "It's more powerful than we imagined," she said softly. "But every system has a weakness. We just need to find it." Jalen set up the first device, a small, precise energy analyzer. The machine hummed as it connected to the artifact's energy field. Sparks flew, and the artifact flickered, sensing intrusion. Alien alarms screamed faintly through the vents. Mara's team froze, listening. "They're coming," whispered Mara. "2 patrols in the corridor. Move quietly." The humans slipped behind a set of pipes, holding their breath as the alien patrols passed. Their bodies were small, their movements careful. Every second was life or death. One wrong step and the aliens could alert the entire ship. Finally, they reached the heart of the engineering section. Mara studied the artifact's energy flow. "It's reacting to us," she said. "It's a live arm in a way. But if we redirect the energy just slightly, we can neutralize the trap completely." Jalen adjusted the controls. "Are you sure this will work?" Mara nodded. "We have no choice. Either we do this or the warship could be trapped again. Or worse." She pressed the activation button. The device hummed, sending pulses into the artifact. The energy chains that had trapped the warship shimmered, then began to unravel slowly. Sparks erupted and the walls trembled as residual energy fought against the human interference. Inside, the alien crew noticed strange readings. "Core fluctuations," one officer shouted. "It's different. Unpredictable." Commander Therrell's eyes widened. "Humans inside our ship?" "How?" His voice shook. He ordered security teams to search the engineering section, but they could not find the humans. The aliens had underestimated their intelligence, their creativity. Mara and her team worked quickly. Each device they attached carefully manipulated the energy, weakening the artifact's control. The warship trembled violently as systems recalibrated. Lights flickered, alarms screamed, but Mara stayed focused. Suddenly, the artifact pulsed, reacting to their interference. A burst of energy hit the nearest wall, sending a spray of sparks. Mara was thrown back slightly, but she regained control, steadying the device. "We are almost there," she said, her voice tense. "Hold steady." The artifact's glow began to fade, the chains around the warship vanishing completely. The engineers' consoles lit up normally again. The alien warship, once trapped and helpless, now hummed steadily. free and functional. Mara exhaled, but there was no time to relax. "Pack up the devices," she ordered. "Move out before they find us." The team retraced their steps through the dark corridors, avoiding patrols and sensors. Every moment was tense. Outside, their small ships waited silently, engines ready to whisk them back into the void. Commander Peril paced the bridge, watching the system stabilize. How did they do this?" he whispered. "No human should have been capable. Yet the trap is gone. Completely gone, Mara." The alien warship floated in space, fully free from the trap that had once held it. Its engines purred steadily now and systems hummed normally. Yet the alien crew was shaken to their core. Humans, tiny, fragile beings, had entered their ship, manipulated their most guarded systems, and escaped without harm. Commander Peril paced the bridge, disbelief written on his face. "No human should be this clever," he muttered. "We must understand them, or destroy them." Meanwhile, Dr. Marave's team regrouped on their small observation ships. Hearts still racing, they had just accomplished the impossible. But Mara knew the danger was far from over. The alien warship was repaired, but it still carried weapons that could destroy entire planets. They had saved it once. Now they needed a plan to ensure humans remained safe, and the trap could never be used again. "We can't just leave it like this," Mara said, pointing at the glowing schematics on her holographic display. "If they rebuild the trap, it could fall on another ship or even reach Earth. We need a solution that makes the humans' advantage permanent." Jalen frowned. "You mean we take control of it?" Mara shook her head. "Not control. Influence. Show them humans are unpredictable. Force them to reconsider every move. They can't anticipate us. That is our advantage." The team prepared once more. Small craft moving silently around the alien ship. This time Mara had a more daring plan. Using their devices, they would subtly alter the energy flows of the warship systems, creating patterns that humans could exploit, but aliens could not predict. It was a gamble. One misstep and the alien crew might detect them and attack. Inside the alien vessel, Commander Peril had ordered full scans of the ship. Sensors flickered as strange fluctuations appeared across the systems. Officers shouted and scrambled, trying to identify the cause. "What is happening to the energy readings?" one cried. "Are the humans inside again?" But the humans were not inside. They were outside, small, invisible shadows manipulating the ship's energy remotely. Mara's team synchronized their devices perfectly, creating pulses that moved unpredictably, altering the ship's systems without alerting the aliens. The alien crew could only watch in horror. Systems began functioning in ways they could not anticipate. Engines responded faster. Shields redistributed energy automatically, and weapons aligned strangely, sometimes activating when no one ordered them. Confusion spread. Officers shouted over one another. Commander Peril slammed his fist against the console. "Humans? They are everywhere." "Nowhere. How can this be?" Mara's lips curled into a small smile. Humans had always been underestimated. Their advantage was their mind, their ability to think differently. Aliens relied on predictable patterns. Humans were not predictable. That was the edge. "Keep the pulses steady," Mara ordered. "Don't stop. Every fluctuation counts." Jalen's hands moved quickly over the controls, sending calculated bursts of energy through the warship systems. Sparks flew from damaged panels, but nothing catastrophic occurred. Instead, the alien warship began to adapt, but in ways it could not fully control. Inside, Commander Peril's confusion deepened. "They are controlling it, without being here." "Impossible!" He barked orders, but the crew could not keep up. Every attempt to stabilize the ship seemed counterproductive. The humans' unpredictability was a force in itself. Mara and her team worked tirelessly, adjusting pulses, guiding the energy through the weak points they had discovered. Slowly, the alien ship began to operate perfectly, but in a way the crew could not anticipate or control. Every system functioned efficiently, yet the aliens were forced to follow patterns they could not predict. "This is it," Mara whispered. "They will have to respect humans now. They will never think of us as weak again." Suddenly, alarms blared inside the alien ship. The artifact, once the heart of the trap, began to resonate strangely. Officers panicked, scrambling to regain control. Commander Peril's eyes widened in terror. "The humans are rewriting the rules. We cannot counter this." Outside, Mara's team exhaled slowly. They had done more than save the ship. They had demonstrated humans' intelligence, creativity, and unpredictability on a level the aliens had never imagined. The warship floated freely, systems fully functional, yet the alien crew was left bewildered and cautious. Mara knew the message had been sent. Humans were not just survivors. They were clever, adaptable, and capable of doing what aliens considered impossible. Their advantage lay not in weapons or size, but in their minds, their ability to see and act where others could not. The human fleet retreated slowly, keeping a safe distance. Commander Peril and his officers stared at the sensors, unable to comprehend what had happened. "Humans, we underestimated them," he muttered. "They are dangerous." Mara looked out into space, her thoughts calm but determined. This was only the beginning. The humans had proven they could face the impossible, manipulate the powerful, and survive. The galaxy would never look at them the same way again. And somewhere in the distant stars, forces far stronger than this warship were watching, taking note of humans' cunning, intelligence, and bravery. The next challenges were coming, bigger and more dangerous. But Mara knew humanity had an edge no one could predict. Their mind, their courage, and their willingness to face the impossible head-on. The humans had gained the advantage. And from this moment on, the galaxy would remember that humans were not weak, not predictable, and certainly not to be underestimated. The alien warship now floated in the quiet of deep space. Fully free from the trap and fully functional, its systems hummed smoothly, engines gliding with power and precision. But inside, the alien crew was shaken beyond comprehension. Their pride, their belief in human weakness was shattered. Commander Peril paced the bridge, fists clenched. No human should have done this. No human should be this clever. How could they outsmart us? Meanwhile, Mara and her team hovered nearby in their small, silent ships. They had completed the impossible, not just freeing the warship and neutralizing the trap, but also demonstrating humanity's cunning and intelligence to the galaxy. Mara's eyes scanned the massive vessel, careful to ensure no residual danger remained. "We've done it," she whispered to Jalen. "The warship is safe, the artifact is neutralized, and the humans' advantage is clear. But we must leave before they recover fully." Jalen nodded, still catching his breath. "It's incredible. They'll never underestimate humans again." Mara smiled slightly. "No, and that is the point. Humans may be small, but we are clever, adaptive, and unpredictable. That is our strength." The alien crew was still on high alert. Officers checked consoles repeatedly, trying to regain control. Some whispered among themselves, questioning their own abilities. "We were saved by humans." "By tiny creatures from a distant planet," one officer murmured. How is this possible?" Commander Peril stood silently for a moment, staring at the readouts. "We underestimated them. Humans, we have made a grave mistake." The humans, safely at a distance, watched as the warship slowly powered up its engines fully. Energy shields glowed steadily, weapons aligned, and systems stabilized. The aliens had survived, yes, but they now knew humans were no longer to be ignored. Mara's team prepared to return to their outpost. But before leaving, Mara paused to send one final message. Not a warning, not a threat, just a quiet demonstration. Humans had arrived and the galaxy must take notice. As they retreated into the stars, Mara reflected on the mission. Every step had been dangerous, every move uncertain, yet humans had succeeded where even the mightiest alien fleets had failed. It was not brute strength or size that had saved them. It was intelligence, courage, and the willingness to attempt the impossible. The alien warship's crew could only watch, stunned and silent as the tiny human ships vanished into the void. They had been spared, yet their perception of the galaxy and of humans had changed forever. Back on the human observation outpost, Mara and her team finally allowed themselves a moment of rest. Hearts were still racing, adrenaline still high, but there was satisfaction in knowing they had done the unimaginable. Humanity had proven that even in the vast, dangerous expanse of space, they could alter events, challenge the powerful, and survive the impossible. Mara's gaze lifted to the stars. Somewhere out there, other forces were watching, other warships, other alien civilizations, unaware that humans had just set a new precedent. And when they came, they would find that humans were not to be underestimated. Humans were unpredictable, intelligent, and capable of feats the galaxy had never imagined. "We did it," Jalen said softly. We really did it, Mara nodded. Yes, and this is only the beginning. The galaxy has learned its first lesson. Never judge a human by size, appearance, or history. Our minds, our courage, and our adaptability make us a force unlike any other. As the human ships disappeared into the depths of space, the alien warship glided silently, systems fully operational, but its crew forever changed. Humans had saved the impossible, and in doing so, had rewritten what it meant to be underestimated in the galaxy. The stars stretched endlessly before Mara and her team, each one a reminder that humanity's journey had only begun, and somewhere, deep in the shadows of space, the galaxy would remember the day humans proved that the impossible could be achieved, and that even the most powerful were vulnerable to ingenuity and courage. Mara exhaled, calm, determined and ready for whatever challenge